Radhe Radhe. Today is Saturday, 11th October 2025, and here we are to present to you this recap video for today's Bhagavad Gita study session. We continue along our journey of chapter 11, getting much closer towards the end. And so, here with me, of course, for this recap video is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
I'll bring up the screen and we'll take a look at the content we covered in our cover slide, chapter 11, verses 48, 49, and 50. Of course, prior to that was the recap quiz on chapter 11, verses 46 and 47. As always, if you please take a look at the description for this video, you'll get the link for the community portal page where you can get all this material for free, as well as other material like these recap videos, a link to a page for other supplementary material, and so on, all for your benefit and learning. With that, let us now get into chapter 11, verse 48.
न वेदयज्ञाध्ययनैर्न दानैः न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः एवं रूपः शक्य अहं नृलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदन्येन कुरु प्रवीर.
Chapter 11, verse 48 has the catchphrase as a question with alliteration, Vedic victory. We saw this, we discussed in class. We'll show you the flyer momentarily as well. But indeed, in this shloka, as Sri Krishna says, you can study as much as you want of the Vedas and or perform sacrifices and or do rituals, perform charity or offer in charity or practice severe austerities. But won't be able to see the cosmic form of God. And that is because we know from Swamiji, from Maharajji, we see it in the commentary here, of course, it is going to happen only because of the grace that God offers. And he offers it by bestowing his divine vision, only, of course, to those very, very, very rare, special, eligible souls. Arjun, of course, is one of them. He got to see that cosmic form. No one had seen it before to that, extent. And so this is Sri Krishna explicitly stating that all this is happening, of course, only because of that divine vision. Swamiji quotes in the commentary from the Yajurveda, you can be anointed, remember, smeared with oils usually is, anoint. Anoint is also to sort of to confer or bless. So you can be anointed with that nectar of the grace of God. And that's the only way actually to be able to see him. Otherwise, it's not happening. And we get a reminder, of course, as to the comparison between our material faculties and what is divine. Material mind, material eyes, material senses, only when God gives us that divine set of eyes, and of course, the divine senses also to comprehend, see, understand God, only then that happens. Sanjay, of course, Swamiji says, was another person who had that vision. He was granted that also by an avatar of God, that is his Guru Ved Vyas, and that was to enable Dhritarashtra to get to hear what was happening on the battlefield by Sanjay narrating all that to him by seeing it. If you recall, we showed in class the flyer that you hopefully had seen. The question is, how much did Arjun have to study the Vedas to get to see the cosmic form of God? It's a bit of a trick question, of course, because he could have studied as much. It would never have gotten him alone by that self effort. Keyword self effort to get to see God, because that's happening only through the grace of God. So, in a way, the response is he could have studied too much, not enough, doesn't matter. It wouldn't alone have gotten him to see the cosmic form of God. So, that is something to ponder about. And in fact, I'm reminded we said in class, there is a video we often share. Maybe I'll try to find that again this time. It is the one about where, the difference between self-realization and God realization. And the latter happens only because of the grace of God. With that, let us now take a look at chapter 11, verse 49.
मा ते व्यथा मा च विमूढभावो दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरम् ईदृणं ममेदम् व्यपेतभिः प्रीतमनाः पुनस्त्वं तदेव मे रूपम idam prapashya.
Chapter 11, verse 49, simple catchphrase, yet of course very, very powerful and necessary. Cheer up. That is Sri Krishna saying in this shloka. Don't be afraid, don't be bewildered. Yes, you saw that terrible form, the cosmic form. All that was done for a reason. It also was done because Arjun had beseeched the Lord and requested to see that form. And then, of course, after getting bewildered, scared, deluded, Sri Krishna is now progressing back or downward in the sense of the number of arms. We've talked about physically as well, into what will eventually be what we see in the next verse. So Sri Krishna gives a preview here that, okay, be free from fear, be cheerful, have a cheerful heart, cheer up, and behold, see me, see with attention, focus on my personal form. Because Arjun, remember, previously had asked to see the four-armed form of the Supreme Lord. So again, as Swamiji says in the very short commentary here, it was a privilege, it was a blessing to get to see the cosmic form, yet nevertheless, Arjun is scared and bewildered. He's going to get a chance to see that personal form. Finally, let us take a look at chapter 11, verse 50.
Sanjay uvacha ityarjunam vasudevastatoktva swakam rupam darshayamasa bhuyah ashvasayamasa cha bhitam enam bhutva punah saumya vapurmahatma.
So, chapter 11, verse 50 has the catchphrase with alliteration, gentle God. Again, of course, the sweet and loving form of Sri Krishna, just as Arjun was used to seeing and being with. So, here now the transition is that from Sri Krishna speaking, it is now Sanjay. So, he says, the Lord, having spoken thus, and how he describes him is as Vasudeva, the son of Vasudev, and Mahatma, the compassionate son of Vasudeva, Sri Krishna. He displayed, remember, from 1,000 arms, he went to his four-armed form. That is the personal four-armed form. And then he further, surprise, surprise maybe, but he further consoled that frightened Arjun by assuming not just the personal but the gentle form, which is the two-armed form, Sri Krishna. As Mummy reminded us, the charioteer for Arjun in that Mahabharata battle on Kurukshetra's battlefield. So it helps you maybe visualize how that progression is happening. That's why we had said in class, if you think about the four-armed form, you'll be thinking about Lord Vishnu, of course. You'll think of the arms, but again, those elements, those objects in the arms are very helpful to place and remember. So there's the crown on the head. That's diadem. We've seen this word before. You can revisit it or note it down. That's on the head. But in the arms, there is the club or the mace. There is the Sudarshan Chakra, the disc. There is the conch. And there is, of course, the lotus flower. So those four are, of course, in the arms of Lord Vishnu. That's the personal four-armed form. And that bonus for Arjun is he requested the four-armed form. Perhaps he thought, can't go further at this stage because God, there's that distance. But the bonus, the gift is he got to see Sri Krishna back as what he was from a few verses before, which is that gentle, personal, two-armed form. So again, in the commentary, Swamiji reminds us, of course, of Sakya Bhav versus implicitly Shant Bhav. The Supreme Lord is the king, the master in some sense, which is the Aishwarya Bhakti mode. In contrast, of course, we always focus and talk about Madhurya Bhakti. Most of the other bhavs fall under that, and that is Arjun, where he wants to be. As Mummy reminded us, that's where each of us as devotees seeks to be as well. So that is presented here, and Swamiji also gives another story from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sri Krishna once had sort of played a prank in a way on the gopis. They were all together, and then he assumed the Lord Vishnu form. He saw the contrast in the gopis. They revered him, they paid obeisance, but then they kind of moved on, and they were still looking for their sweet, loving Sri Krishna. And so he finally, of course, melted when Radharani appeared. Again, all this is to connect Madhurya Bhakti, that Madhurya Bhav, and some of the other bhavs as well, including Sakya Bhav, all towards that love and devotion that is needed to eventually attain God. Mummy, it's over to you now to take us through these verses and also give us some Sanskrit terminology.
Thanks, Gagan. So, from the first verse, we will look at the word Ugraihi. Ugraihi means severe. So, in what context this word has been used? The thing is, Sri Krishna is saying in this verse that no one in this human world can see the Lord's universal form as Arjun has seen. Okay? Why we can't see? Because we are doing what? The practices, maybe Vedic study, sacrifices, rituals, or ugrahi, severe penances. So, what Krishna is saying that just these practices are not enough. This verse emphasizes that seeing the divine universal form is a unique and special gift which has been bestowed upon Arjun by divine grace, not earned through only these practices. This is a very extraordinary vision, hmm, which is rare and special gift made possible only through divine grace, not just by following prescribed religious and spiritual practices. And why it is significant? Because it elevates Arjun's experience beyond the ordinary. See what happens, the practices are purifying, but they are not a guarantee of direct divine experience. So the example is like I gave in the class that when before sleeping we do so many things. Okay, we prepare our bed. We may have a warm milk drink, and then we switch off the lights. Then we lie down, or some people read book, listen to music, do some meditation. But sometimes these are the practices, they are only encouraging sleep. But there is no guarantee that despite after doing all this, we will get a good night's sleep. So, same in the same way, all these practices are helpful in purifying our mind. These practices they purge our mind of selfishness and individuality. But it's only due to Krishna's compassion and grace that Arjun could see that universal form. So, from verse number 49, let's look at the word Vimudha Bhava. Vimudha Bhava means that bewildered state. So, what was happening now? Krishna understood that Arjun's mind could not deal with the fear inducing cosmic form. So, Sri Krishna told Arjun not to worry and remove all traces of fear. So, he assured Arjun that it was same person all along in all the different forms. Okay, I was the same, your friend, charioteer, companion. Nothing has changed. So just behold, prapashya, very important word. Do not look away, just behold, and your familiar form is on its way. So it is same thing applies to us. Like when we see destructive forces in the universe, when there are slides, when there are thunderstorms, we do get scared, we do get afraid, and we are then agitated in our minds. So what Sri Krishna is suggesting, oh Arjun, don't be afraid. Similarly, we have to understand that let's be of course, always be in humility, but live with a fearless attitude. Have faith in God and a cheerful mind. That is very important. All the time, we don't have to be attached to these possessions, to our body, the way Arjun was getting afraid. And we need to have the right knowledge, no confusion between right and wrong. Okay, so we don't have to be deluded or bewildered, and have faith and start seeing God in everything and everything in God, and accept whatever happens to us, it will be for our good. So, not to be afraid, have a fearless attitude with humility and with a pleasant, cheerful mind. Learn to live our life. And now, verse number 50, let's look at the word at Saumya Vapuhu. Saumya Vapuhu, gentle two-armed form. Okay, so that is what Sri Krishna is bringing us to, that the word Sakhya Bhav um, Arjun had for Sri Krishna. It was like by showing the cosmic form, the experience was for Arjun like a father scolds a child. And so child is afraid and fearful, because that time father's expression changes. So the emotions change. And when the father pacifies the child and loves him back, that is what Sri Krishna is doing. He is now pacifying Arjun, and he is ensuring that his state of mind returns to normal. And actually, if you notice from next shloka, the meter of shloka is also going to change. It will come back to Anushtup meter, the normal meter of Bhagavad Gita. Until now, chapter 11 was, most of it was in Trishtub meter, where we saw the terrible form of Sri Krishna, universal form, terrible form, okay, with terrible teeth, the everything going into him, everything coming out of him. It was like pralay, annihilation, all that happening, what Arjun saw. So he was terrified. Now Sri Krishna is saying, don't be terrified, and I am there, uh, same person. So he said that you have asked for Chaturbhuja, I am going to come back to two-armed, gentle form, which you have always been experiencing with me in that Sakhya Bhav. So basically, what is happening? We are coming back. Krishna is getting us back to the loving devotion form, that Sakhya Bhav, where God is seen as personal friend. There is one Aishwarya Bhakti where God is revered as distant and almighty Lord. Okay. So Swamiji has given example also. Basically what it means, that we can reach God with very pure, loving devotion. That is what Krishna is getting Arjun to experience. Over to you, Gagan.
Thank you, Mummy. Yep, indeed. The point is to keep on increasing our loving devotion for the Supreme Lord, for Sri Krishna, for Radharani. With that, we get towards the end of this recap video. So we look forward to meeting you next week. That is Saturday, 18th October, 2025. Same time, 8 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. India time. Till then, thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.